Gregg, Maya, and Betty are not experts, nor do they claim to be. They're just a bunch of nerds who enjoy talking about movies, shows, and current events. So sit back, grab a coffee, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of All Queued Up.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Queued Up. If you're new to the podcast, what we normally do here is we talk about or review shows on streaming services. But today, we're just going to shoot the shit, have a really casual, mild stream, or what I'm going to call the ADD podcast, because I don't know where the conversation is going to go, but it's going to go. I'm your host, Gregg Dietz, and with me always is Maya Don Fisher and Betty Badger. How have you two been?
I've been good. Hopefully my computer makes it through this episode. So how about you, Maya?
I'm pretty good. Speaking of PCs, I actually had to tear my PC down yesterday and do some maintenance on it. It started overheating the other day, and I took my CPU, or I took the cooling fan and the heat sink off of the top of my CPU, and basically the thermal paste needed to be cleaned off and reapplied, and then the fan and the heat sink cleaned off and everything. So I took about an hour to do that yesterday, and now it's running at nominal, optimal, nice, cool temperatures.
Cool.
And everything running much better than it was the past couple of days. It was pretty janky. Other than that, I've just been really busy doing a lot of playing Red Dead Online and reading up on D&D stuff. How about you, Greg?
A lot of reading Invincible. I actually finished it. My days would literally be like, and I wish I was joking. I would wake up in the morning, drink some coffee, eat some oatmeal, and then about an hour after waking up, so I'd watch it like a stream or something, or watch a YouTube video, pardon me, go to the gym, go on the treadmill, watch an episode of an anime called Jujutsu Kaisen, which that anime will change depending on when I'm done with one or whatever. Then do a few shoulder muscle workouts, butterfly, the press, whatever, and then go. Yeah, that machine where you just do this. It's like a shake weight sort of thing. And then come home, take a shower, and I'd have about an hour before I had to go to work, and then I just go to work. When I would come home between the two shifts that we have, I would just read more Invincible. And then when I'd come home at night, it was either play games with some friends or read more Invincible, one of the two. And it took me about 2 weeks to finish it all, but that's also because there was fucking 15 years of comics to read, so it took me a while.
That's a lot.
But yeah, if that's why you two didn't hear from me much the past week and a half.
Yeah,
or whatever,
you were very quiet.
Yeah, it's because I've just been doing that. That was literally every day, unless it was a Wednesday. There's also some other stuff going on at the house that is really frustrating that I won't get into. But my mom's doing better, by the way, when it comes
That's
to.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good to hear.
We for Mother's Day we got her a. I hate surprises. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I fucking hate surprises. Why do I hate surprises? Not because I don't think surprises can't be fun, because I hate keeping secrets. I fucking hate it. So, I want to say back in the end of March, Jeff was at my brother Josh's house, and Josh wanted me, mom, and dad to come over and hang out on a Sunday. I had no problem with it. I was like, cool, we'll come and hang out. And it was supposed to be a secret that Jeff was there. It wasn't a fucking secret to anybody. Yet, certain family members weren't supposed to know that Jeff was there, even though they did. And then, my dad knew that Jeff was there, but not supposed to tell my mom. Then my mom knew and not supposed to tell my dad. And then Josh told Dad on accident, but not to tell Mom. And then Jeff had called my mom and said that Josh isn't supposed to know. I swear to God, this was real. So when we got there and it was revealed that everyone fucking knew that Jeff was going to be there, it turned into an argument. And so that I piped up and I was like, here's a fucking novel idea, guys. How about we just don't keep secrets anymore? I think that sounds like a good plan, to which Jeff laughed. And Josh was like, well, I just thought it'd be fun. And I was like, I get it, but this is what happens.
Uh-oh, we've lost Betty for a moment.
We'll get her back. But yeah, for the sake of our audience listening, that's why I don't like keeping secrets. And when doing things for my mom's Mother's Day, that's what I was trying to say, I didn't want to keep it a secret from her. So I talked to her about like what she wanted, and she's been wanting to do a like a little herb garden. Oh. So I went to a place called Green Acres here in Oak Grove, and I bought her. I bought her 6 different herbs. She had mason jars, and she wanted to put the herbs in mason jars. So, I bought her some rocks to put at the bottom of the mason jars, and then some nutrient dirt.
Yeah, nutrient-rich potting soil.
Yeah. So she's been working on that slowly. Her back's been hurting her a little bit more frequently, so she's not as active on it. But
well, the great thing about putting them in jars is she can sit at a table at a comfortable height and work on them.
That's exactly what she's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and well, awesome. She thought she killed the basil because
not the basil.
On Monday, her back was hurting too much to go downstairs, so she didn't even water them. And she goes, it was super wilted, and so I put some water in there, and it came back to life. I was like, oh, I'd hope so.
Way to go, E.T.
But she's happy. She's it's a new project for her.
That's great. That's great. Everybody needs a hobby, man. That's something I always talk about. Everybody needs a hobby, and if you don't have a hobby, most times when people are miserable, it's because they don't have something that brings them joy in their life in the form of a hobby in a lot of instances.
Oh, that's something I want to talk to you about specifically, because my dad wants to get into model building. Not Gundams and shit like that. He wants to do tanks,
same technique supply.
Ships. Yeah,
same technique supply.
So I kind of wanted to get in touch with you about what I could get for him that would work, so that way he could do that.
Well, there's 3 things that you need essentially. You need a pair of nippers or side cutters.
Okay.
You don't have to go too crazy with them. Like my go-to brand, a lot of people that build Gundams, they're really big on this brand of nippers called God Hands. They cost like $55 for a pair. You don't have to get a fucking super nice pair of nippers. I got a pair, $10. They're from the Army Painter. $10 pair of nippers. You need a hobby knife like an X-Acto,
okay,
to trim. And
what about like a sander?
Yeah. They make, you can get sanding sticks. They make them specifically like a set of sanding sticks with like 200 grit, 400 grit, 600, 800, and 1,000 grit, because you want to trim away, cut your parts off of the runners, and then take your hobby knife and carefully trim the excess, the nubs off, and then sand them, starting with a rough grit, then moving up into your grits till it's super fine. You buff it. You don't have to buy sanding sticks. I swear to God, dude, what I do, I buy nail buffer blocks. Nail buffer blocks have like 7 different grits on them. They're made for fingernails. They have a rough grit, not so rough, and it goes up to where, you eventually buff it. Those are the 3 things that you really need.
Gotcha.
And then and so you're basically looking at maybe $20 in materials to start, and those tools will last you forever. And buffer blocks cost like $3 or $4. An X-Acto knife you can get for about $5 to $8, depending on what type you get. It doesn't have to be exactly brand. And then nippers, about $10. I mean, you're not looking at a whole lot of investment. And that it's a hobby that you put in as much as you want to put in. Okay, Betty's back.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what. Okay.
It's okay.
My camera wasn't wanting to work. Microsoft restarted my audio, but I think I'm going to have to get a new headset because one of my cats was chewing on it.
Oh
no.
I've noticed that if I touch the wire there, everything goes. So I'm going to have to get a new headset because my cat ate my headset.
No bueno.
I hate that. So I missed a lot of that.
It's all right. I was talking about Mother's Day and getting my mom some herbs for Mother's Day because she wants to make a little herb garden, and that's a good hobby for her. And then I was mentioning how, or Maya said that everyone needs a good hobby, and I said that I wanted to get my dad a model building like equipment because he wants to build little models of like tanks or something to that effect. So I think Father's Day coming up, I'll definitely try to maybe save some money to get him all that equipment. There's actually a hobby shop like in walking distance from my house. So
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you just basically need those three things to start with: side cutters or nippers, a hobby knife like an X-Acto, and get you a nail buffer block. Make sure it's one of those kinds that have at least 4 different. I've got 2 different ones hanging over here that haven't even opened yet because I go through them. Let's see. One is a 4-way nail buffer, and the other one's a 7-way nail buffer. They cost $3 a piece.
Okay,
but it's basically sandpaper. It's just,
very light sandpaper.
Yeah. The goal this year for my family is that I want my dad to retire. So what I would like to do is, him and I we're talking about trying to figure out how to get a new car or for me to lose enough weight to where I can fit in the fucking Subaru, get my license. And then that way I can DoorDash by myself and he stays at home. And we were talking about like, if he stays at home, what can he do in terms of a hobby? And he was talking about how he's been wanting to build model kits. And I was like, we can make that happen.
It's therapeutic. I love building a kit, and primarily I build Gundam kits and the occasional Transformers kit or the occasional Star Wars model ship. Most all of my kits come from Bandai with the exception of a couple of kits that I have from a company called Flame Toys that makes Transformer kits. But same techniques apply. And, if once he gets into it, if he needs any assistance, tips, or tricks, I've got tons of fucking resources I can point him in the direction to. Even talk to him directly. I've done online, I used to stream on Twitch building Gundams.
Yeah.
I used to do that, you remember. So
yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to bring it up to you. Because
what's he wanting to build?
Like army tanks, like Abrams and some battleships and stuff like that is what he wants to build. Or just
military style
things.
models.
Yeah, he also said he wanted to build planes or something like that. So he wants to build vehicles.
Cool.
So that's
I used to actually. I had a couple of planes back in the day that I built. So yeah. Also, not necessary to start out, but I would recommend a good set of hobby tweezers. Like they're inverted, so the pressure always stays on them. You actually squeeze in the middle, and it opens them up, and then you can grasp the part and let the tension off, and it will grasp the part for you. Because a lot of these kits have small parts, and if you fumble, easy to fumble around with a lot of parts with your fingers, it just makes it a lot easier to insert parts into the right locations. So I would recommend those two. So you may be looking at a startup cost of $25 to $30 max plus your kit.
Oh, I was thinking upwards of 60 for everything, which is not that big of a deal. Like, not even remotely big deal. Because that's the other thing is I don't have a problem, going to a hobby shop and buying him multiple kits. To work on. So,
and a lot of kits are usually in the $15 to $25 range. More extravagant kits will cost you more than that, of course. I mean, there's Gundam kits that most on the average, like high grade kits, are about $15. Some of them $20. But there are some perfect grade kits out there that cost over $300 and $400. So. It's definitely a hobby that has, it's definitely a hobby that has something for everybody, model building itself. And there's no limit to, you get out of it what you want to put into it. So like you can do a straight out of the box build and be totally satisfied. Or if you want to really get fancy with it and want to prime it and paint it and weather it and all that, you can do so. It's your model. You can do what you want with it, and that's the great thing about it. There's a saying, and this applies to all model building, not just Gundams, but in Gundam, the hobby is referred to as gunpla, short for Gundam plastic models, and the saying is gunpla is freedom. It really is. It's what you make of it.
Yeah, and that's my goal in general, is to make my parents as comfortable as possible. I know that technically that with their age, they wouldn't technically be in retirement, but with their disabilities, they totally like early fucking retirement.
Yeah.
So, but,
I mean, that's with me, with my disabilities that I have, I'm essentially, I draw Social Security. I'm retired essentially, because of disabilities. So that's why I have a vast number of hobbies. Like I'm always have something that I can go to occupy my time, because I have tons of free time, especially when Madison's in school and Misty's at work and it's just me. So I can build a model, or I can paint a miniature, or read, or build a diorama, or play video games. Those are the things that occupy my time throughout the week.
Yeah. One of these days, I'll get a better hobby. But right now, it's just the basic same shit. Because I'm working.
Whatever makes you happy, man.
Yeah,
what I want to do, what I think my ultimate goal is that get to a point where I can get paid for taking care of my parents. That way, DoorDash isn't necessarily a thing we have to do as much as it is a thing that we can do if we want to. The other thing that we need to do is, like I said, get me my license and me doing DoorDash and put it into my tax situation, because with my dad getting paid with the amount that he does, like every year, taxes are a giant pain in the ass.
Because you're only allowed to make so much when you draw Social Security, or else you run the risk of losing your Social Security.
Thank fucking whatever deity you believe in that my aunt is an accountant and loves my dad, because she fucking saves our ass every year. Like, he'd have to pay the fucking IRS so much money if it wasn't for her. Like, she finds so many goddamn loopholes and stuff. It's great. Like, this year we would have had to pay the IRS over $3,000, But she found with deductions and other stipulations and shit, like we don't have to pay them anything. We're actually getting $28 back from the state, which was
that's great.
Fuck yeah.
If it were under my name, it'd be a whole different fucking can of worms. But I have learned from my dad that like anything that can be deducted needs to be saved. So fucking anything that can be. But the other thing that I want to try to do this year, at least at the end of the year, maybe earlier, I don't fucking know, is get some schooling. Go back to school a little bit. Learn a trade of some kind. My parents aren't going to be around forever. I can't really, I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that is absolutely relying on them, especially, for, what they bring in with disability. If I were on my own right now, I'd be fucked. I genuinely would. And I'd like to not be in that case.
You wouldn't be able to afford your own home if something were to happen to your parents.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys take care of each other. Like you do a lot for both of them, but at the same time, even though they are physically disabled, you still rely on them more than the average person would have to because of where you don't have your driver's license and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'd like for that to change. I would absolutely like for that to entirely change. And I even if I did have my license, I'd still do DoorDash just because the ability to kind of just stop whenever the fuck I want and start whenever the fuck I want is so much nicer than like while taking care of them. So yeah, I don't know. I just a lot of lofty goals this year.
Well, I hope you get there, and you're going to the gym now. You're actively trying to improve your health. To get
last night I had broccoli for dinner.
Oh, dude, I love broccoli. Broccoli is delicious, especially with some chicken and rice, a little bit of seasonings. Some ginger, some soy sauce, and making some Chinese broccoli and rice.
Yeah, I gotta stay away from processed sugars. That's like my biggest fucking vice. I'm really trying to stay away from that shit because it's honestly what how you gain most of your weight.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard, especially because fucking sugar's addictive.
As a sodaholic, I completely understand.
Well, there's studies that have shown that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And hits the same way.
Oh yeah,
like the dopamine factors.
There's one thing I'm really proud of myself on, and that's cutting soda on my diet entirely. When I don't know if I told you guys this, but I was having heart issues. Yeah, like I would just have these weird heart, I don't want to call them palpitations, but they might as well be called palpitations, where my heart would beat really hard. And I would, my chest would feel really tight and I'd start sweating really profusely and have to pee every 30 minutes. I couldn't figure out what the fuck that was. At first I thought it was just anxiety. And then I looked into it more and I was like, oh, it's just really, really high blood pressure. And I looked into what to do to change that, and it was like, drop this, drop that, drop this, and I haven't had one of those attacks since I started doing that last year, or cut those out last year. And soda was the biggest one for me because it was so much caffeine. The fact that I was able to change that has been a big, like, I can fucking change anything I want about my life. I know that I can if I try hard enough and stick to it. So positivity, y'all. Positivity.
You'll get there. Just keep at it like you've been doing. I think you've been doing an awesome job. My biggest thing is in this past year with COVID is I've not been nearly as active physically as I normally would have been. And the past few times I've gone out, I have noticed it wears me out. Like, because I do have the weight problem. I struggle with weight. I've always struggled with weight. I'm nowhere near as big as I used to be. I used to be about your size, Greg. And I've gotten down to 280, but I'm out of shape. I get winded badly because I'm in this apartment and I don't get to get out much, and I don't move a lot. I don't get to go outside. And a lot of that was because, the vaccination wasn't available yet. And where I have a compromised immune system, I did not want to take any unnecessary risks. Well, now I'm fully vaccinated as of a month ago, almost. And, I've gotten out a few times since then. And, I am out of shape. I need to, go start walking, on a daily basis and get my endurance built back up and get it to where if, I want to go into a store, I can walk around the store without feeling like I'm going to die.
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to get past. Like people, my favorite fucking thing starting this gym was that this gym account was like people were just like, well, that like technically losing weight is like 80% diet and then 20% exercise, and I was just like, I'm fucking aware. Do you think I'm working out to lose weight? Because I'm not. I'm working out so that way when I walk up the steps in my house, I don't get to my room huffing and puffing. That when I walk through the fucking grocery store to pick up 7 items, that I don't get back to the car covered in sweat.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fucking working out.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But it's good for your health no matter what your size is.
Oh yeah. And that's another thing that, like my biggest fear is, I don't know if I told you guys this, but about 2.5 years ago, something to that effect. I was at my buddy Nate's house, Danger Mouse. You remember that guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, Betty, that I'm talking about, he's
the greatest. He's amazing. Wherever there is danger, he'll be there.
Well,
oh wait, not that Danger Mouse.
no.
Nate.
He is very, very skinny, like very, very small. He's a solid fucking like 6 inch shorter than me too. But we were friends in high school because in theater class we had a project together where we had to do a two person like thing on stage. That was our final, and we decided to do Abbott Costello's Who's on First. Big mistake. Because it's very hard to do, but him and I
Nate's got the attention span of a goldfish.
You really do. But I'm still good friends with him today and to this day. And I lost my train of thought. Why did I bring up Nate? What were we talking about before?
Abbott and Costello.
No.
Oh, an instance, something that happened about 2.5 years ago at his house.
Okay. Thank you. Jesus. Yeah. So I was at his house, and we were playing a board game, something about a haunted house. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was really fun. But you had to like move a bunch of pieces on your turn, and I kept having to stand up and down. And then that night, like I couldn't move my knee. I couldn't put any weight on it without it being just completely dead. When I came back home, it was completely immobile. Like I just couldn't use it. It was in immense pain. And I literally had to rely on my parents. I was completely bound in my bedroom. I couldn't even make it downstairs.
I remember that.
And I don't ever want that to happen again. And the problem was that because the knee that was in pain, I was putting all the weight on the other leg. So by the time this knee healed enough for me to put weight on it, the other knee went into that condition. So I spent
overcompensation.
I spent a solid 3 weeks in that case. Just could not get out of my room, could not go back to work. And I don't want that to ever happen again. So I'm trying my best to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I noticed that very recently here, one of my knees was making the kind of sensation like that was going to happen again. And I'm like, nope, time to work out this motherfucker. So,
well, every pound that you lose is equal to 2 pounds of pressure off of your knees.
God, it took me so much strength right now to not say is equal to the love you make.
Sure.
Oh, it took so much strength, Maya. You have no idea.
You said it anyway?
Yeah, I did. Oh, it's a good joke, though.
Okay.
Anywho. Yeah, so I'm just trying to make sure because being laid up like that really fucking sucks. Being dependent on people, especially people you're trying to take care of, really fucking sucks. So I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that frustrates me is if I want to go anywhere, I have to rely on somebody to take me because I have my license, but I can't drive because of, even though I have the prosthetic, I can't move that prosthetic foot. I can't depress a gas pedal. I can't shift it to move it to a brake.
Why are you saying mean things to a gas pedal?
Well, it was asking for it. But that's something I want to do. And I was set up to do this last year, and then COVID hit. I have to go to the hospital over in Abingdon to an outpatient therapy, and they have to evaluate me to see what modifications I would need for the car. The day I was literally going to go over there and get it last year, they called me and they said, we've been ordered to shut down by the state because of COVID. I was like, okay. And now they're open back up. I just need to get a new prescription from my doctor to go over there to be evaluated so they can make it to where I can drive again. They would either have to put like hand controls on the car or a left foot adapter, pedal adapter for the gas pedal, and I would have to learn how to drive using my left foot for gas and brake, which it would be tricky, but I could get used to it. That's I hate having to depend on Misty. Like if I want to go somewhere like I used to, I would just hop in the car and take off and say, honey, I'm going to go here. That's the one thing I miss doing. I'm going to go visit some friends. I'm going to go to the comic shop. I'm going to go to the grocery store for us. She has to do everything, and it sucks. I hate having to depend on her, and I hate that she's got all that on her. And that's my big goal, is to get to where I can drive again and do things like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely an unfortunate situation that it was your right foot, not your left foot.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was my bad ankle.
Oh, huh.
That ankle was a bad ankle anyway.
Do you still get phantom pains?
Dude, I've never stopped feeling my foot.
Well,
ever.
I get you feel it, but
I feel it. Right. Oh yeah, I still get pains. The worst is when it itches.
God,
it's like oh no, that is the absolute fucking worst. Like,
so question for you on that.
Okay,
like, could you trick your brain into scratching a prosthetic?
I've tried. No.
Okay.
I've tried and no. The only thing you can really do, there is a nerve on the back of my calf muscle that I can press, and it will make whatever pain or itch go away. But the problem is, if I have the prosthetic on, I can't get to it to make it happen. And it also hurts to do so. So it's like, the pain or the sensation will go away in a few minutes, and you just got to ride it out. or you can make yourself hurt in other ways and end it. It sucks.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm sure it fucking sucks. I don't wish that shit on anybody.
I don't recommend it. I don't. It was painful to have done the whole amputation thing. I mean, that was painful.
Yeah, you were before the amputation. You were very like you got fevers frequently, or at least more frequently than.
Well, that was because I actually had contracted a staph infection and flesh-eating bacteria disease, and I thought I had the flu.
Right.
But no, I was battling that stuff for a while. I didn't even know it. I used to stay sick.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it. So, yeah. I mean, the trade-off, it was worth it. I'd be dead if I hadn't done it. But, yeah, it was painful.
It's no good. But, yeah, so that's... Everybody look out for your health, mental and physical.
Yes.
Actually, there's I love talking about this because a lot of people don't quite understand what I mean. Meditation is fantastic. And I don't mean like fucking sitting on the edge of your bed, cross-legged, going, I don't mean that. What I mean is literally like get into a quiet space and literally concentrate on your breathing. What I mean by that is just go, okay, air in, air out, air in, air out. And literally just keep doing that. So your brain is completely empty, just fucking empty. What happens to your mind when you start going through that phase is that other problems that you have, things that come in that cause anxiety or something to that effect, just go away. And you start realizing that your mind is your worst enemy when it comes to shit like that. And it honestly helps me. And I'd like more people to give it a shot because it helps with fucking mental issues so much. It's not a solve. It's not a, people have to understand this. Mental health is not something that's just solvable by a pill or meditation. Meditation is something that should be practiced frequently because I stopped for a while and it completely came back. The anxiety, the issues, it completely came back, and I was super fucking depressed. And I recently started meditating again, and I feel so much goddamn better. So I just want people to give it a shot.
Well, that's great that it works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, me, I'm medicated, and I'm in therapy, but my mental health now is better than it's been my entire life. And that's, my therapist told me the last session we had, or maybe it was the session before that essentially I'm no longer clinically depressed, which is a wonderful thing. And now I just have to go once a month, like as a maintenance kind of thing, and continue that for as long as I feel necessary. But, but yeah, to what Gregg's saying, if you struggle with mental health, give that a shot. See how it affects you. Not everything's going to work for everybody the same way. It may work for you, it may not.
Yeah, I mean
it can't hurt.
It can't hurt. Cannot.
Yeah, there's a few people that have talked about like how to. Because that's one of the issues with anxiety that I think a lot of people don't get is that sometimes anxiety isn't even triggered by a thought. Sometimes it just happens. I've dealt with anxiety my whole life, and I'll be sitting in the car with my dad, everything's chill, and all of a sudden I'll just get a bout of anxiety over nothing. My brain wasn't even thinking about anything that was going to give me anxiety. It just happens, and that's probably a chemical imbalance or something to that effect. A lot of the times my anxiety is triggered by something, just anything that even mildly is, like I don't want to do that. And suddenly, boom, anxiety. And that I say this all the time, that your mind is your worst enemy. It's the one that tells you lies all the fucking time, things that are just not true. One of my biggest issues, this happens so fucking often, is I'll say something that I think was rude or that somebody is upset with me about, and they don't even care. The other party doesn't even give a shit. They're not thinking about me. They're doing their own thing. They're living their own life. But my mind the entire time was telling me they're mad, that they're upset. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate is all I'm getting at.
There's been times that you thought that I was mad at you for something, and I'm like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Tell your mind to settle down.
Yeah. That's why
I know it's easier said than done.
Well, that's where the meditation helps. That's where it helps. When my anxiety sparks for no fucking reason, my anxiety doesn't, or the meditation doesn't really work on that. I just have to kind of let it pass. But when I'm like, oh, my friend is upset with me because I said something that was slightly rude or like I think is rude, while the other person's like, I didn't care. That's all I'm getting at. Like, if you're stressed about work or something to that effect, like, meditation can help. And like Betty said, can't hurt to give it a shot. But that's what's working for me. So,
speaking of Betty, I know you've been a little quiet. What's on your mind today? What's happening? What's new? Putting you on the spot.
She's like, nothing big.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to take a nap when we're done here. I'm tired.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to make for breakfast. I'm thinking eggs and speaking of something, guys, I totally forgot about this. Did you guys know that fucking potatoes have an ass ton of potassium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that until yesterday.
Yeah.
My dad's kidney situation has decreased. He went from 25% to 23%. And we were trying to figure out why, because he's staying away from the stuff that the doctors told him to. Potassium and animal protein. And he was like, Greg, can you check how much potassium potatoes have? And I was like, sure. So I looked it up, and it was like 800 milligrams for a fucking medium potato. I was like, holy shit, that's more than an avocado. That's more than a banana. And he goes, damn, I'm eating a lot of potatoes lately. I'm like, well,
yeah,
maybe not anymore.
He'll need to scale back on those. Moderation.
Yeah. We learned that if you double boil a potato, you can cut the potassium by half. So we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, I did not fucking know that. I was like, that's news to me. So
yep, learn something new every day.
Every day. That's another thing. I don't want to be alive anymore if I'm willing to not learn anything. Like, I don't like.
I'm glad you added that onto the sentence, because I thought you were just going to stop it. I don't want to be alive anymore. I was like, Jesus, what's wrong?
No,
we were just talking about the progress and the goals.
I don't want to be alive anymore. Bye. No, like, it's always funny to me when people are know-it-alls or they think they know everything, and it's like, you don't. You really don't. We know jack shit about most things, and to claim that you know a lot because of whatever fucking reason is mind-blowing to me. So I'll give you an example of something that happened that I thought was really funny. I was talking to Jeff about the virus, and
why is it that when you talk about people who doesn't know jack shit, and then all of a sudden you mention your brother?
Look. I get it. No, like I was trying to explain to him the how the virus works, and he was he didn't really understand like how the vaccine works is what it was. my thing that I said to him was that the vaccine, the Moderna and Pfizer, have dead viruses in them. Obviously, that's incorrect. I thought I had the information right. So the next time that I talked to him and told him that it does not have the dead virus in it, he looked at me like, well, if you don't even know if you were wrong, then how? And I'm like, because that's how you should react to everything. Like, yes, I was wrong, and now I'm not wrong, because I looked into it further. Or, like, you have to understand that's how science works. Betty's gone again. Betty went away again. But that's, science works in the regards of falsifying information. And so if the CDC comes out and says, so we're pretty sure about this and you need to practice this, and then a month later says, oh, we changed it because we found out some more information, that doesn't mean the CDC was wrong. That just means that their knowledge on the situation had changed.
Yeah.
And you can't be upset when something like that happens. You just have to. I don't.
No, I get you.
You have to be able to learn. You have to be willing to understand that you are not. You are not a know-it-all. No one is. So stop pretending you are. And I don't know who this you I'm talking to, but
The general you.
myself in some way.
All right. So now that Betty is back, and we've talked about mental health, we've talked about physical health and the importance of, and etc. We touched on hobbies earlier. What's we kind of alluded to it last week. We got an exciting new venture in the works.
Yeah.
Rogue bear.
So, that's us as a podcast, and my sister-in-law and her husband, and a friend that Betty has introduced us to, one of Betty's oldest friends, are going to start playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and I would love to actually, tape a couple of the sessions and put them up, see how they do.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be doing this, telecom, which when I tried to get it together a few years back, nobody was willing to do that. So now it's like everybody's okay with this. It's like, we had to get used to the idea of this is how we're going to live. But I think it's going to be really cool. We are not going to be playing in the typical D&D world. We're going to be playing in one that my friend created many, many moons ago. It's an interesting world, and it's going to shake things up a little bit for this game. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm excited because, just seeing him working on something again makes me happy because he's a master storyteller. He's really good at it. He just hasn't been as excited to work on projects as he used to be. So it's been nice to see that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to actually look at the information, because the problem is right now is I haven't looked at anything that you guys have put into that group, just because it's been a lot, and I was trying to get through the Invincible comics. So
You're gonna have a lot of bullshit to wade through.
yeah, there was one morning, or not morning. It was because I have the thread muted at the moment, just because it was all like I didn't use my phone. Bling, bling, bling,
Yeah.
bling. And I looked at it, and it was like 62 messages. I was like, oh boy. So
Yeah, I think the only one who's got their character figured out is Maya.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was on that shit, and I'm
I've
still
dug out
working on mine.
I've dug out books. I've ordered books. I've got more books coming. I've got I have literally so much source material spanning from 2002 to now. Um, third edition, 3.5 edition, Pathfinder first edition, D&D fifth edition now, and Pathfinder second edition now. I've got so many resources available for us to use. Because I've also ran campaigns and played in campaigns with other people, and I just have a blast doing it. And I'm excited to actually be a player, but there's a big part of me that wants to actually run stuff too. And something I would like to do is, like, on weeks that we're not playing in this, I would like to start playing in a more traditional setting.
Oh yes, I understand that, because this one is definitely going to be a challenge because of the way he has the world set up. And
Yeah. There's definitely been, at least for me, a degree of frustration in the structure of it, just because of what's not there. And
yeah,
it's like, okay, what do I have to work with? Because I've created a really cool character, which haven't rolled it up yet, but the bones are there. I just need to put the meat on the bones now. But that was not my first or second choice of what I wanted to play. It's like my fifth or sixth choice. It's like, okay, I want to do this. No,
yeah.
that
What?
doesn't exist. Okay, well, I want to do this. No, that doesn't exist either. I'm like, oh no. How about this? No, because that doesn't work this way. So I finally was like, all right, I'll do this.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, because I'd actually thought up a character name and everything, and I was like, I want to be this, and just blew that out of the water. I was like, oh fuck, man. Fuck. I hate you right now. I even told him, I was like, if I was still your girlfriend, I would win this argument. Because we dated back when I was a teenager. So, I was like, but he's also very stubborn headed, but he's fair. This is the world, and he's trying to find ways to, work with us in certain aspects. So I do like the challenge of it. That aspect is really, it is forcing me to think outside of what I would normally do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would also like to have just a normal campaign, and just, play the shit out of, what I want to play.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think both can be done easily. And, different types of fun can be had. Both can be very fun. Because I've been watching a lot of stuff, and there are a lot of people out there that play in more than one campaign.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't feel, plus, it allows more time for prep for one.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely something that I want to do then, if everybody is cool with that.
I'm down with it. I don't see, why anybody else wouldn't be down with it.
Well, when Sean and Sheena get back from vacation, it's something I want to discuss, because Misty has actually expressed some interest in, she would want to play too, but she wants to play in a normal setting.
Understandable. Yeah, I was not expecting what he threw at me. I was like, wait, what? Okay, we'll play like this, but you better make this good. You better bring out all the storyteller that I know you have inside you, because you've really fucked with everybody's plans here. So, but again, he is a good storyteller. I do have faith in his ability to make something good out of this, and it is going to be challenging for all of us to play a game that is devoid of most magic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was telling him what I kind of see for the character I guess I'm going to be building is kind of like a Doctor Strange type character. And he totally jived with that. So
Okay.
I think I'll end up just doing like a human fighter or barbarian or something to that effect, like some character that doesn't even remotely use magic, but is very skilled in the martial arts or fighting style or something like that.
you can be our tank.
There you go. Just make it a little easier on myself, because I'm still fairly new to D&D stuff. Like, I know a little bit, I know enough. Like, I've watched some things on Twitch and or YouTube, and I've played a few rounds of D&D in the past. But like the biggest issue is for me is my ADD kicks in really fucking hard when it turns into what I feel like is homework. So like trying to retain the information is so difficult sometimes. So just watching a D&D session where the people are making the story will actually tell me more information than just reading the book.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, you know.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, get him.
Is that my little?
Yeah, get him.
Yeah, she's taking him out. It's his midday potty break, and he's really happy.
Oh, well, I don't get that excited when I have to go to the bathroom.
He's gonna go smell all the smells.
That's a misconception, though. You know, it's good to have the handbook, but that's more of a reference. You don't have to read everything just to start playing. The only thing you have to start playing, you know, a set of dice and your imagination. You know, because the best way to learn D&D is to learn by doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I learned, you know, and that's the way most people learn. A friend of mine said, "Okay, you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll play." And okay, well, let's create a character. We created a character, and then, you know, I didn't even buy a book before I played the first time. I just would use his when I needed to refer to it. And we just played, and it was just so much fun. And I got addicted from the first session. And, you know,
my first session was that good.
No.
I told Maya about this the other day, but Betty, have I ever told you about the first time I played a tabletop RPG?
No.
It was awful. So it was my buddy Dwara had asked me to join his group. He had a buddy who knew fucking Masquerade, which is like a vampire style.
I played it.
Okay. He was like, nobody else wants to join, so do you want to try it? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. So every other week we would go to that guy's house and we would play. But the problem is that I didn't again want to do any of the homework. He was like, he handed me a book this fucking thick and this big, and he was like, read the whole thing. I'm like, I don't want to. So I didn't. And but I read enough to build a character, to get a backstory, yada yada yada, did all that stuff, and I knew my character well enough to just hop into this world. And I understood like the lore, like the back lore of the world a little bit, like it was explained to me, and I think I watched a couple videos. But then I went into this session, and his entire concept of what was supposed to happen was that both Dwara and I knew everything about everything, as much as he did. And the thing I remember the most about him and the way that he game mastered, I should say, was he didn't want me or Jawara going off path at all. I remember there was a situation where Jawara and I were talking to a guy, and what we were supposed to do was we were just supposed to have a conversation with the guy to get information out of him. But I knew by the way this guy was kind of talking to us that he was going to betray us. So I wanted to use an ability to try to get out of the room, to get away from everything. And as soon as I said, what can I do to do this? How can I make this a thing? His response wasn't, what a DM should do if they want the players to talk to the person, which is, there's nothing in the room to help you out. It's a solid room or something to that effect, or like making it so that way I can't do the thing that I want to do without telling me. He outright says to me, buddy, you can't do that. You can't, you have to talk to the guy. You can't do anything. That's my story tells me you have to talk to the guy.
Yeah. Well, again, asking you to know all the information too. A DM should be knowledgeable. They should absolutely be knowledgeable. I don't expect them to be knowledgeable about everything. Yeah, they're going to have to reference books. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
But
I know that
players, a good DM should be able to just bring in somebody, help them build up a character, and just play out from there. They're gonna let you know what is and what is not allowed, but they're also not going to stop you from interacting in the story. That's the whole freaking point of the story. It's like you talking to the guy. It's like, he should have allowed you to make rolls to decide, how your investigation goes down. What do you see? Is there any other way to do this? But no, he didn't. He's a toxic DM.
Yeah, exactly. That's Matt Mercer, who hosts Critical Role. He said it best. He goes, as the DM, your job is to make sure the players are having a good time. That's it. That's literally it. If they're not having fun, if they don't want to come back to the session because you are restricting them in some way, that's not fun for them. That's genuinely not fun for them. So
it's all about the story, man. Getting to play the story.
He goes, if you have a whole thing set up where you want them to go and you have an idea of how you want them to play it out, and they go nowhere near that, you have two options now as the DM. Try your best to guide them back in that way without making it feel like that, or scrap that entire storyline and use it later.
Yeah.
Re-implement it into the game at some other point. Don't make them feel like they made a bad choice. And once I had seen that, I was like, okay, I need a better DM. And I talked to Cody, the guy that does the intro for our show. And he knows a lot about D&D. So a long time ago, he was going to host this whole session, and I kind of told him this too, and he was just like, absolutely not. That was a very, he should not be upset when the players choose to do something. He just needs to move forward. Laugh with you guys. Make sure that there's entertainment there. And I said, okay, that makes sense. It didn't make any sense to me the way that he was doing it originally. And then I played an actual session with a different group of people, the guys that I play Wednesday nights with video games. And I'll never forget this. So what was happening was that one of the guys, Mark, he didn't know how to play at all, but we were kind of guiding him and just kind of doing things on the fly. And he was playing a druid who could change his form into an animal that would help us out. And so in this particular instance, he was supposed to roll to see if he could change into a bull to knock down a door. And he rolled like a 2. So what our DM did was, instead of saying, oh, you failed, our DM was like, you try to cast it, but you cast it wrong and you turn into a cow. That is hilarious.
Hey, that's really good for it too. You at least turned into something similar to the animal you were going for.
Yeah,
I would have actually been like, well, you're a bull, but you're like a calf, so you're not large enough to, because
so
you halfway succeeded.
It's been like you grew a tail and a snout, but that's about as far as we got. That's going to take a couple hours to wear off.
Oh, look, you've got udders. Great udders, by the way.
You feel some squishiness in your pants, and you look down, you're like, what is that?
What happened next was actually a lot of fun. because we were about to go into a dungeon. That was the whole point of breaking down the door. And Andy's character, who I don't remember what his class was, but he could make potions out of food and stuff. So we thought, hey, we could milk Mark and make some potions.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So Andy rolled, and we milked Mark and made potions. It was great.
How did Mark feel about this?
Not great. Not great.
Not much you can do about it, though, huh?
Nope, not a damn thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And see, that's the kind of fun that you can have. And a lot of people think, oh, well, you got to have. I don't have all the stuff to play on a table. You know, I don't have miniatures and I don't have sets. You don't have to have that stuff. Your imagination, theater,
but,
theater of the mind.
Yeah,
those are enhancements, like a battle mat with a grid and, miniatures and little buildings and markers and things like that. That's all well and great, and those just help. But theater of the mind,
Yeah, it's like I told Jeff and Lydia yesterday. I was like, it's basically adults playing pretend. That's basically what it is. You've picked out a character, and now you're playing out a story, just like you would with your friends on the playground. I mean, it's just a little more advanced,
Yeah.
I'm super excited though, and
it's gonna
that there are. I was looking at resources, that D&D Beyond site.
Yeah,
Like you can do so much with that. So I signed up for a premium account. It's like $6 a month, and that's why I went ahead and bought the handbook on there. That way, people that don't have their own personal copy yet, if they plan on getting it but they don't have it yet, I made it shareable so you guys can access it and look at it if need be. But there's ways to run maps and shit on there. And I found this extension that you plug into Chrome called Above VTT, which is implemented with D&D Beyond. And you can run everything through that.
Yeah. I mean, we did a lot of things without having a lot of things back in the day. And, he did a great job running multiple different RPGs into one game. It's like, in one game, I was a changeling who was a stripper, and I was a satyr, but I had a necklace that glamored my appearance so it looked like I had legs.
I wish I had a necklace that made it look like I had
If I find one, I'll give it to you.
That might be the episode title right there. I wish I had a necklace that made it look like I had legs. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know. That was 17-year-old Betty. 17-year-old Betty wanted to be a stripper satyr, and that's what 17-year-old Betty was.
Nice.
And now I'm like, I want to sneak into the shadows where no one can see me.
My goal is to be a funny character. I remember in one of the D&D sessions I had, I built a big idiot, just a big fucking moron, who believed he had a spell called Sleep Spell. He just punched people in the head. He would roll Sleep Spell and just bop. And whenever he got frustrated with a conversation, he'd just go, Sleep Spell.
Jesus.
Nice.
Piss that guy off.
They have an intelligence score of 7.
Oh, dude, it was bad. I was a big, lovable idiot, but I was always friends with everybody. But I was an idiot. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Maybe I should do that for for our session with Deke.
Absolutely.
Just a big fucking idiot. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a great thing about this game is getting to be someone else.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
100%.
stepping outside of your comfort zone, playing completely different than what you would do if you were in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will say, Maya, an excellent piece of advice that I heard someone give to somebody else when they said, "I don't know if I can get into this because I'm not super into the role play community. I don't know how this stuff kind of works. I don't know how to role play. Create a character that's like you. Role play yourself.
Yeah.
And then once you're comfortable, create a character that's not you. Yada yada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think 17-year-old Betty was a stripper, so
She just wanted to be.
yeah, well, that's not the profession I went into. That was the profession my sister went into. So maybe if I hadn't broke my hip, who knows where I would have been.
Fucking getting
you would have been cinnamon with a Y.
Oh God.
I had a friend a long time ago who worked as a bouncer at a strip club, and the stores he had, good gravy. I said, what would you say is your most common client? And he was like, honestly, Japanese businessmen. I don't know why. He goes, this isn't a stereotype or anything like that. It's just something I noticed. And I was like, do you think it's your specific club? And he goes, it might be. You know, I don't bounce at other clubs, so I don't fucking know. But like at the club I worked at, it was Japanese businessmen all the time, and they always came in the afternoon with the B team. Oh my God. B team
After lunch. Go watch the girls dance.
He was friends with quite a few of them too, and to say that they were hot is an understatement. They were very attractive, but they were also like 3 of them were gay, which was really funny to me. They're like,
make your money where you can, man.
The businessmen or the strippers? It's like, that's, I mean, it's their business, of course, whatever makes them happy, who they are, be who you want to be. But why was he friends with the businessmen? That's what I was wondering. That's where my mind was going. It's like, he's just a bouncer. How do you make friends with these guys?
Yeah, you're not friends with the customers.
I asked him if he had to ever get like physical with a customer, and he said, yeah, I absolutely did. There was a couple guys that didn't get the hint of not touching the women.
Yeah.
No touching.
He's like, unless you're paying it for in the champagne room, you can't touch. You're not allowed to. And the girl has to be okay with it. That's the number one fucking thing. And I'm like, oh, consent? That seems like a fucking novel idea.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, again, having a sibling who's been in the profession, yeah, you deal with a lot of drunk assholes, It's like the night she decided to quit, she just ended up dumping a drink on a dude's head and walking out. She's done. It's like, yeah, I guess we all get to that point eventually. But, it's an interesting business, let's put it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other subjects you guys want to talk about?
I think we've covered a wide variety of things today.
Yeah, I'm hungry is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm getting there too. I had a bowl of Golden Grams about 4 hours ago, and I'm ready to eat some lunch.
I'm gonna go make a breakfast burrito. I've decided. I'm gonna make I'm gonna make some tater tots.
You have spoken.
And I'm gonna make some eggs. I'm gonna grate up a little bit of cheese, and then I'm gonna use my bedroom big ass bottle of fucking Frank's.
You keep that in your bedroom? Wow.
Frank's Dick Lube? If it was,
If I jacked off with fucking hot sauce, I did fucking bow down to me because Jesus Christ.
Right?
But Betty, that's not.
talk about a
not
hot
all.
time.
I have 2 bottles of Cholula. I have, and then 2 bottles of this. One is chili habanero. This is really fucking hot, and then this one is like red chili habanero. You know,
Those
I gotta
aren't
be honest.
hot. They're not that hot.
I didn't say they were hot. I mean, they're hot, but they're not. They're hotter than Frank's. They're hotter than Cholula.
Oh shit! Everything's hotter than Frank's.
Well, I know what you're getting as a present next time I go to Gatlinburg.
What's
They
that?
have a little specialty hot sauce store there that sells all kinds of different hot sauces. So
I love the hot sauces that they use on hot ones. I want to get some of that pucker butt.
pucker butt.
Did I tell you what
Yeah.
Jeff got me for my birthday? Or yeah, for my birthday.
No,
The day of my birthday, we were heading back home, and Jeff said, "What do you want to go eat for dinner? Like, I'll buy you whatever you want." And I said, "There's this chicken wing place that's like close to the house that they have a hot sauce that claims you need to sign a waiver." And he goes, "All right, let's go give that a shot." So we go get the wings, and the dude there was like, "I'll give you an extra wing if you eat one right here." And Jeff and I were like, "Sure, why not? Like, extra wing, yeah." What he didn't tell us was that not only was it going to be hot, but it was also going to be fucking scorching hot, like fresh out the fryer, burn your tongue or the skin of the fucking, give you a blister in your mouth, kind of hot. So Jeff and I try to eat it, and then also because the temperature was so hot, it like got around our lips. That fucking hot sauce was ridiculous, y'all. Like, I cannot express to you how fucking hot it was. It was uncomfortably hot. I can't do that kind of hot. I can't, like, if it's above 100,000 Scoville, I can't do it. Like, it's just not fun. But these were like 400,000 Scoville, so.
I've never tested myself on Scoville level. I don't ever plan to. I like spicy food, and that's all I know.
Habanero Scoville. Yeah, habaneros are around what I can handle, which is 100,000.
well,
like
they start at 100,000, but they can actually go to much higher.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I love watching videos of people like, eating Carolina Reapers and shit. I'm just like, y'all are crazy. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
I'd do it.
I mean, the hot sauce tasted great, but because I was all into the hot sauce, Jeff sent me 3 different bottles of hot sauce that have to be refrigerated, so they're not in my room. But one is a pineapple habanero sauce that's fucking delicious. I never thought to do, like, I always see, habanero mango, which is really good, but fucking pineapple
habanero is amazing.
It's so good. And then the other one he got me was Stevo's hot sauce, which is just called hot sauce for your butt or something like that, or for your butthole. That's actually really flavorful. It's got a nice sweetness to it also, and it's tangy and it's really, really tasty. It's actually not that hot. It's really not that hot. But the reason he got me that one specifically was because Stevo did an episode of Hot Ones, and he mentioned his own hot sauce that it needed to be hotter because of what they were giving him on Hot Ones. And then the last one
watched that.
it's very good. And then the last one he got me was it's like Atomic Bomb or something like that, and that motherfucker, holy shit!
Oh wait, is it the bomb? The ones that
Yes,
use on Hot Ones?
Yes, it is.
Dude,
the bomb.
I hear that's just fucking diesel fuel and heat.
It's tasty, but
I've never heard anybody say that about it. Everybody said that it just tastes bad, that it's just straight heat and there's no flavor to it.
I can see why they say that, because it just tastes like if you took a certain type of pepper and grounded it up and then put it into like a charred paste is kind of what I would describe it. But honestly, like if you like chipotle, which is, you know, grilled or charred
smoked jalapeno,
then I think that's kind of closer what it tastes like. But
okay.
The thing about it is that, like, I wouldn't put it on a hot wing. The way that I would use the bomb is if I made a chili and did a couple drops into the chili. Is how I'd use it.
Gotcha.
It's not a wing sauce by any stretch of the imagination. The other two are. Oh, by the way, can't eat fucking hot sauce right now unless it goes past my lips entirely, because right here is insanely chapped and I have no fucking lip balm. So, fuck me.
Been in a lot of rest stops recently, have you?
Ma'am, don't you put that on me. Fucking put that on me.
So,
Oh God.
No, it's honestly because
There's a hot sauce from Australia by a company called Brunsters, and their signature hot sauce is called Shit the Bed.
Oh, I want to try that one day. I've heard of that one.
I do want to try it. I want to try it so much.
It's funny. My family, like Jeff, like my family can't stand, or like Josh and Jeff do handle hot sauce nowadays because they've grown a tolerance by trying it. But when we were kids, I loved hot sauce from the get-go. There was a Mexican restaurant we would go to where the salsa was really hot. This is when at least when I was a kid. But it was so fucking good. And I would just sit there and eat a ton of hot sauce. And I'm sweating, nose is running. And I'm just like, this is fucking delicious. Mom was like, you have to stop. You are red as a tomato. And I'm like, I can't. It's delicious. But the other one that always makes me laugh is she would use Tabasco on our tongues if we said a naughty word. And she determined what naughty words were. Like, she didn't want us saying fart when we were kids, but whatever. But she put Tabasco on my tongue one time, and I just went, "Can I have some more? That's delicious."
right.
Like, not gonna fucking work. So she used something else. She didn't use soap, but she used something else that I didn't like. I don't remember what it was, but
It's like when my spawn was a wee babe and she was teething. I used to get jalapeno beef jerky. And because when I was pregnant with her, I ate all kinds of spicy foods. I love spicy foods. And again, I still do. And, you know, I love jalapeno jerky, any kind of spicy jerky. And she took it and got a taste of it one day and decided she liked it. And she was sitting there teething, you know, she's teething to begin with. So she's chewing on this jerky and she's crying at the same time, but she won't let me take it away from her. She's like, I love it. And she still loves spicy foods. Like when she made me jambalaya for Mother's Day, she put jalapenos in it. She's like, you mind if I put jalapenos in? I was like, no, go right ahead. I'm going to love this. And I did. It was so good. I love having a 16-year-old now. She can cook.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's insane to me how many white people I know that never tried spice or kind of developed a taste for it. I still remember long time ago, Andy was hosting a Super Bowl party at his house, and he was like, I'm going to make jalapeno poppers. I was like, sweet, fucking love jalapeno poppers. And he was doing them in a specific way where it was cut them in half, basically make a boat, and then put like a cream cheese cheddar mixture, and then wrap it in bacon, and then put it on the smoker.
Yep.
Fucking, I fucking love. I thought they were delicious. And Andy can't really handle a whole lot of spice, so he tries one, and he is so wetting. He is in immense pain, and everyone else tries one, and they're just like, "Are you okay, dude? These aren't that hot." And he's just like, "I do fucking. Oh my god."
It's like when I cook spicy stuff, it bothers Jeff. His eyes start watering, and I'll have the fan on high and stuff in the kitchen. He'll be sitting in the living room, and he's like, "What are you making? My eyes are watering." I get it. I do love my food spicy. It's like when we grow a garden and I do homemade salsa, I have to wear gloves and goggles when I make the salsa, because if I get it on my hands for the next 24 hours, I can't touch my face at all. It's just so bad because I love my spice. I love my spice.
Yeah, I made the mistake one time of touching a part of my body I shouldn't have after cutting open jalapenos. Never again.
Yeah, you learn real quick.
In this house, we call it the kitchen curse, where, where we are, we're in the kitchen making food, and all of a sudden we have to pee real bad. Other people experience this, I assume, or it's just my family. I don't fucking know. It's like the poop knife story. Did you ever share that story?
That's okay.
Well, it's not my story. It's not my story. It's just a guy grew up in a house where they would use a thing called the poop knife, where they would cut up their poop if it didn't go down the drain, and he didn't know that this was his family sort of thing. So he goes to a friend's house one night to stay the night, and he goes like, "Hey man, I kind of, I just won't go down. Where's your poop knife?" And they're just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, poop knife. So,
well, I'm worried about what these people are eating if they need knives to cut up their
My
poop.
friend Pinkerton has a poop knife story. So,
oh, nice. I have one similar to that. My mom used to call shivers up your spine where you're just like, oh, like that, like just randomly, just called it a pee shiver whenever the fuck they happen, not just when you're peeing. And I remember being online with a bunch of friends, and I said, "Oh, I just had a pee shiver," and they're like, "I'm sorry, too." So I think we all have something similar to that. Josh has one where when he was a lot younger. My dad used to say "chork pops" for pork chops, and he thought that was a common thing. He learned real quick that's not. But anyway, so the other thing that I was talking about before the poop knife story, what the fuck was it?
Peeing while you're cooking.
Oh, yeah. So the kitchen curse is what we call it. But I was making I was working at a ranch far away from my house, but they grow corn every year that's it's like super organic and super sweet, and they have a whole festival because of this corn. And so one year I was like, I want to make a corn salsa. So I bought some of the corn, I bought some ingredients from their open market, and I'm at home and I'm cutting up the jalapenos and I'm making them real nice, and I was like, man, fucking kitchen curse. So I just put everything down, I run upstairs, go pee, wash my hands, come back down, and I start cooking again, and I'm like, oh no, I don't like this, why is this happening? And my dad's like, did you not wash your hands before you went pee? And I went, no. And he goes, well, enjoy that for the next day.
Probably wouldn't have mattered anyways. Capsaicin tends to stick for a while even after you wash your hands.
Very true.
So yeah,
that's why you use milk.
Well, trust me, I've tried everything, and the only thing that works well is baking soda with the soap. I'm not sure why, but because where I use Tiger Balm, which has capsaicin in it, when you put it on, you don't want to touch anything else after a while. So
Tiger Balm has capsaicin in it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There are a lot of things that are for arthritis that have capsaicin in it.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you don't want to touch anything, for a while after that. But, you've got to do things after you put it on. So I experimented and finally figured out that baking soda was the best way to remove those capsaicin oils from my hands.
Yeah, because it's I try to explain this to people, it's waxy. That's why it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not fucking know that baking soda worked on that.
Yeah, well, it's just something I discovered. It's like, so when I have Jeff do my shoulders or something, I'll have him wash his hands with baking soda afterwards because it does work. Not sure why, but it seems to remove most of the stuff that causes the burning sensation from capsaicin. So
that's excellent information. I had no clue. But also at this point, like I wear a glove when I'm cutting up jalapenos or
yeah,
something. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, now we should get off here and go make food because now y'all got me hungry.
yeah.
So
I need food and spice in my mouth right now.
mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So that's gonna do it for
what
us.
they call it at the rest stops.
I swear to God. Swear to God, Maya.
Love it. Love it.
That's gonna do it for us today. And Maya, don't you fucking interrupt me. Next week,
Okay, I won't.
We don't have anything planned next week, but if we do,
Love, Death, and the Robots.
Oh, that is next week. Love, Death, and Robots, everybody. If you haven't watched the first one, definitely check it out. You don't have to watch the first season to watch the second season because it's an anthology show.
Yeah.
But it is premier content. I loved things like Animatrix and what was that other fucking anthology animated thing? Like I grew up on like Heavy Metal, like that movie, which is a bunch of anthology animations, and I love it, and it kind of reminds me of that style. They're not connected, but you get it. But yeah, so Love, Death, and Robots season 2, 8 episodes. It's gonna be great. At least I hope it will. Yeah, that's it for next week. That's on Netflix, by the way, for anyone curious. I don't have my notes up, but I remember that I usually talk about the merch store that we have. Redbubble? No. Teespring. I should have my notes up more often, y'all. Yeah, so we still have the merch store up on Teespring, and I think in the future we're going to be adding stuff to it, but we don't have anything yet at the moment. So we'll get there, and we do buy some merch for our stuff with our faces and stuff on it. It's good times and stuff. I'm having a stroke, I think, so I need to get food inside me, like now. Go ahead and hit up our YouTube, give a like, comment, subscribe. Helps out the algorithm, helps us out on the long terms. You can see Betty and I pretty frequently, almost every week. Maya, once a month, I think, at this point.
I'll be on camera again next week.
Sure you will.
Hey, every time I say that, I'll follow through.
Betty, back me up here. Is that accurate?
Yes. I said 2 weeks ago I'll be on camera next week. Last week I was on camera. I didn't say it last week.
There were quite a few weeks before that you've said, no, I'm definitely going to do it. And then we get on there and just a black screen with Maya's pretty face in the picture. But no Maya. So, yeah, I love you, girl, but no. But we'll see how well you do next week. We still love you.
Week-to-week basis. I wouldn't want it any other way, Maya. That's ultimately what it comes down to. But I like to give you shit anyway.
What you're saying is...
Bless you.
You're saying, all right. Hurt my feeling. I could have sworn I've always followed through.
Not always, but that's okay. You're human.
Anyway. Well, on that note, Maya, where can folks find you online? Where you're maybe on camera or not? I don't know.
You can find me on Facebook under my name. It's a public profile, so if you wish to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you can do so. They're linked there on Facebook. As for shows you can catch me on, aside from this one, every other Wednesday on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel on a show called Figure Bangin', where it's a live action figure review show. And then every Friday night live around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or Saturdays at 9 if we're pre-recorded, depending on who has to host, either me or Rob, because the internet in my town right now is overloaded and they need to get that resolved. Hurry up, Comcast. It was supposed to be done a few weeks ago. But yeah, that's a Nerd Life Syndicate, and we talk about various things in all nerddom, be it comics, movies, TV shows, all kinds of different things in pop culture. It's a lot of fun. Those are all the places you can find me. What about you, Betty?
You can find me on Facebook at Betty Badger Ogletree, and you can find me on Twitter at Bright Betty. And other than that, I ain't doing nothing else right now. What about you, Greg?
You can follow me on all socials under Chub Rock Geek. I've been doing stuff with Anthony off and on when it comes to the Mission Start stuff. We're just trying to add stuff to the YouTube channel, and we recently uploaded the second episode of our quarterly podcast that we're going to be doing. It's mostly me talking about Fall Guys because I thought he was going to upload that like after we talked about it. He decided to wait a whole fucking month, so it's super behind. But now that I know that that's how he's going to upload them, my conversation with him would be a little bit better. But yeah, if that's something you want to check out, go check that out. That's on Mission Start Tubes on YouTube. And I think also like we have the audio versions of everything on every single podcast station. Just search up Mission Start Podcast. Other than that, I'm still waiting on Maya to help me out with the review of a thing.
Oh God, I forgot totally about that. Thank you for reminding me. I'll get on that today.
Okay. I was waiting for that one to go up, and then I was going to see how well it did, and then
you might have to
more.
You might have to send me the link again.
That's fine. I can do that. It's not a problem. We talked a lot over the. I should have reminded you, so it's partly on me, but
I should have hopped on it. I should have hopped on it when you sent it to me. That's my mistake.
It's all right. Yeah. Trying to think of anything else. I think that's it. Yeah. Everyone, again, check out Love, Death, and Robots. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. At least season 1 was. I'm hoping season 2 will be. That comes out Friday.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh.
Mass Effect.
So today, for anyone watching or listening.
Yeah, I bought the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and I'm real excited about playing it, and that comes out the same day.
Now, is that the remaster for the PS4 and the Xbox?
Yes.
Okay.
It has the 1, 2, and 3, and all the DLCs for each game.
I've got to get that now.
Yeah, it's if you've played the first Mass Effect, there's a lot of jankiness in it. One of the big things is the Mako, the car that's driven, was super fucking floaty, inaccurate with its aiming. They've completely fixed that. Apparently, you can change it back to the original controls if you really want to. I don't know who's a fucking masochist, but there you go. But the other big thing that I think is super fucking important is that something that made the game really, really long was elevators. Elevators would take 2 minutes while playing. And it's because it's trying to load the next area. You literally, it's cut down to like 15 seconds at best. And areas in which you would have to because they had to build it so that way they could load in characters as you're coming around a corner. Because of the way that, systems work now, they've completely cut walls off. So that way you can just go there without having to fucking do too much. So the first 10 hours of Mass Effect 1 will probably be now like 5 at best. Because it's just a little bit more streamlined and you're not waiting so much, which is, I can't fucking tell you how excited I am for that. And then 2 and 3 are mostly unchanged. It's just the graphic and quality has been risen. But the other thing that's important to me is that I made a lot of terrible mistakes playing the first 3 games. I've talked about them. If you've talked to me and know all 3 games, I've told you the story. Something happened in 3 that completely devastated me. Something happened in 2 that completely devastated me. Just quit your goddamn giggling.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
But I'm excited to not make that fucking mistake again.
Yeah, you hope.
Shut your mouth. Nope. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take my fucking time. I'm going to scan every planet. Every planet. All right. Everybody, enjoy the week. Enjoy your life. Have a good time. I can't think of what else to say. Like I said, Love, Death, and Robots this Friday, or when this episode airs. And we'll see you next time.
Peace, love, and polypops, everybody. Go meditate.
Take care, everybody.